Wednesday. It's so good to see you all. I'm sorry that I haven't seen more of you this week. It's been very busy. I'm teaching again for PA Cyber, my cyber charter school here in Pennsylvania. We are in summer camp, so I am there every day teaching about art from all around the world, which is wonderful. It's so nice to see some of my students again. However, I do certainly miss hanging out with all of you, and I'm so excited that we're going to be making some delicious dinner tonight. I am hungry, so I am excited about what we are making today because, oh, Miss Cassidy is hungry and I'm ready to eat. So we need to get started here. I've got my laptop loading with all of our fun questions and comments so I can see. There we go, we're all set. I'm going to grab my apron. I have a list of ingredients in the description here. You want to get your oven preheating to 450 degrees. So get that going. Hello, hi friends. Oh, it's so good to see you joining me. All right, so before we get started cooking, what do we got to do? We got to wash our hands. So we're going to go ahead and get a little soap on our hands, get a little water, and we're going to sing our hand washing song. Ready? Wash your hands, do 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 do, top and bottom, do 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 do. Wash your hands, do 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 do, top and bottom. Get those fingers, do 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 do, in betweeners, do 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 do. Get those fingers, do 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 do, in betweeners. Scratch your palms, do 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 do. Get your nails, do 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 do. Scratch your palms, do 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 do. Get your nails. Rinse them off, do 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 do. Rinse them off, do 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 do. Rinse them off, do 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 do. Rinse them off. Dry them well, do 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 do. Dry them well, do 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 do. Dry them well, do 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 do. Dry them well. All done and washed up. Perfect. All right, friends. So we are making pizza today. Pizza has been around for over 200 years. It is from Naples, Italy originally, and then it has been formatted and changed by all sorts of different wonderful cultures. We have American pizza, obviously, which we're a big fan of. Today we're going to start by making our crust. Some of you, I did mention, if you want to use store-bought crust, you can go ahead and do that, but we're going to make our own. So in order to do that, we are going to need 2 tablespoons of active dry yeast. So I've got this here, and I gotta grab my scissors and my measuring spoons. Now, when we made bread, we talked about yeast is very special because yeast is what helps us get those nice fluffy bubbles in our crust and make our bread nice and fluffy. Yeast is awesome, but it is tricky sometimes. So we're gonna open up our little package here, and I'm going to measure out 2 tablespoons. Oh, I'm having a hard time because my hands are still a little wet. There we go. We're going to measure out 2 tablespoons of dry active yeast, which, depending on the size of your pack, chances are it's going to be 2 packages. That's what mine's going to be. 2 packages of this active dry yeast. This is a 1/4 ounce pack of dry yeast, so you can go ahead and use that. Hello, friends. Hi there. See, I got some friends answering me. What's up? Good to see ya. Hello. All right. 2 packs of dry, active yeast into our bowl. Then what we need to do is we need to get some warm water. Actually, I lied. Let's do the sugar first. We're going to take a tablespoon of sugar because yeast likes to eat sugar. That's what helps it grow. So we're going to add 1 tablespoon of white sugar right in with our yeast, and I'm going to go ahead and get a fork and just mix that up nice and good so we've got the sugar mixed in with the yeast. And now this is our trick, friends. We need to get warm water, not hot water, warm water. If you're really fancy, hi Caleb, hello there, thanks for joining us. If you're getting really fancy, you can use an instant read thermometer and you want it to read about 105 degrees. But if you're not gonna get fancy, which I'm not, I'm just gonna get a cup of water, 1 cup, and I'm gonna just kind of feel it with my hands. It should be warm, but not hot. If it's hot, it's gonna kill the yeast, which is not what we want. So I'm gonna crank mine up to hot real fast, because that's the way my faucet warms up faster. And then we're gonna turn it, and I'm gonna keep my hand under it so that I can feel when it's warm, but not too hot. It's kind of like Goldilocks. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. All right, getting some hot water going now. All right, I'm gonna turn it, get us to something a little bit more warm. That feels good. All right, I'm gonna take 1 cup of my warm, not hot water. And I'm gonna pour that in with my yeast. And I'm gonna stir it up just a little bit. And then we need to let that sit for a second. We are proofing our yeast right now. We're letting that yeast grow. We're letting all the good chemical stuff happen. We're gonna let that sit for about 5 minutes. While we wait for that, we're gonna make our sauce. And like I said, if you wanna do a store-bought sauce, you do you. Sometimes you wanna go for the easiest thing. But if you're not gonna do store-bought and you're gonna follow along with us, you are gonna want, oops, sorry, hold on, I wanna make sure I get my measurements right because I know mine is different than yours. I have little cans of tomato sauce. So you're gonna want 15 ounces of tomato sauce, which might be 1 can or 2 if you've got the little ones like me. And you want 1 6-ounce can of tomato paste. So I'm gonna get my can opener. If you're using a can opener, ask for a grown-up to help you because it's very easy to get your fingers caught up in there. There's my tomato paste. Get my tomato sauce going. Hi, who else did I have join? Hello, Ryder. Thanks for joining us, friends. Are you making pizza? I'm so hungry, friends. I was so busy teaching all day that I didn't get to eat a whole lot, so I am pumped for our pizza. All right, now that I've got all my cans open, I'm gonna dump them in to my bowl. And as you can see, the tomato sauce is nice and liquidy, whereas the tomato paste is pretty solid. So you might need to use a utensil, like I'm gonna use this fork real quick to get that tomato paste out and mixed in. And we're gonna play with our herbs and spices here. So I pulled out paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, basil, and oregano. And I'm gonna use that to season up my sauce. Here we go. And let's see, a good way to test what kind of herb, hi Amy, hello, hi friends. A good way to test what kind of herbs you want to use is to give them a good sniff. Give them a smell. Hi Jonathan, hello. So I've got basil here. I'm gonna throw in some basil to my sauce. And when we're working with herbs, I tend to get kind of loosey-goosey with it. I do whatever I want to do. Hi friends. So I'm gonna take a little paprika, just a dash, because I like paprika a lot. Garlic, you can use fresh garlic if you want. You can use garlic powder. I'm gonna use a little garlic powder, a little oregano. I'm doing very well, thanks for asking. I'm hungry. I'm excited to eat our pizza. All right. And then heck, why not? A dash of onion powder in there. So give your herbs a smell. Which ones do you like more? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix it all together with our sauce and our paste. We gotta get that paste kind of broken down so that it's not lumpy. It's nice and mixed in with the rest of our sauce. Give it a nice good stir. And then we get to taste it a little bit. Oh my goodness. Did I get that right on the first try? pretty good. Maybe a little extra onion powder. So give it a taste. See what you like. See what you can taste. Can you taste things that smell like the herbs that you put in? Ooh, almost dropped my can opener. You're using fresh basil that you grew. Ooh, that's gonna be so good. So good. All right, get that nice and mixed up. And that's all that takes, friends, to make a delicious sauce. You get to mess around and put whatever kind of flavors you like in there. You can test it out. You can try different things. And that's all it is. You just mix it up and keep tasting until you got something that tastes good to you. Pizza has obviously been around for ages. Like I said, it originated in Naples, Italy. However, it has gone all over the place. Obviously, it was a big success here in the United States when Italian immigrants brought it over with them. The first pizza shop was a place called Lombardi's, and it opened during the early 1900s. It was also a big hit during World War II. After a lot of our soldiers came home from being deployed in Italy, they loved pizza. And so they were so excited to have more of it here in their home, which is understandable. All right, we're gonna take a look at our yeast. And mine is getting bubbly, which is what we want. We wanna have just some bubbles on top. Let me go ahead and grab you and I'll show you what we mean. See how we got some bubbles going? That's what we want. We want it to have a little bit of bubbles. Turn you back around. There we go. And let's see. This is probably going to take about 5 minutes. Ooh, and if you feel the bottom of your bowl, you can feel it's still a little warm because that yeast is working hard in there. I'm going to put my sauce off to the side. So we aren't going to need that for a few minutes. Now that we've got that all good, frothy and bubbly. It's pretty frothy and bubbly. I'm going to talk to you for one more minute. We'll get prepped for the next thing, so we give it just a couple more minutes. We are going to get ready to add a tablespoon of olive oil. So we're going to use a tablespoon of olive oil. We're going to pour that in, so make sure you've got your olive oil and your measuring spoons handy. And then we also need to get 2 to 2.5 cups of flour ready. So we're going to start with 2 cups of flour when we put it in, and we're going to let it mix together. And then as we knead it and we work on our dough, we can determine if we need more flour. The thing about this is yeast is going to be affected by whatever your weather is. That's going to change the quality of the dough. So we're going to see how it goes. It might be a little different for you, but we'll talk through it, okay? All right, so we're going to take 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Actually, we're going to do a tablespoon and a half. That's right. We're going to do a tablespoon and a half of olive oil in there. We're going to take our fork and we're going to just very gently mix that up. We don't want to do it too hard because that's going to knock out a lot of those bubbles that we worked so hard to get with our yeast. So just a real gentle stir to get it mixed up. Oh yeah, it's nice and frothy on the fork. Exciting. And then we are going to take 2 cups of flour. 1, we're going to put it right in. And 2, right in there. And then we're going to just take a little bit of salt. A teaspoon works. Like I said, when we're cooking, it's a little different than baking. I don't get so particular. I'm just going to take a little dash in my hand and sprinkle it in that way. Now, I'm going to use a spatula to get us going, just because I don't want to get too sticky while we do this, because I got to touch a lot of stuff today. You know, normally Miss Cassidy does not mind getting messy, but we got so much stuff that we got to handle today. I don't want to make my whole kitchen sticky with pizza dough. And we're just going to real gently mix this together. Mix that flour in with your water and sugar and yeast and the oil. And like I said, we don't want to be too rough with it. We just want to get it nice and combined until a ball begins to form. That's where we're going to mix it till it starts making a nice ball, which is pretty much what mine's doing right now. We'll give it one more nice scoop. One more nice scoop. If we've already made dough, how long should we put it in the oven? So, if you are using a pizza stone, then you don't need to put it in the oven to pre-bake at all. You can just wait till we're ready to add it with all the other ingredients and our cheese and our topping, and you can throw it all in at once. If you do not have a pizza stone, that's okay. What you should do is you should roll out your dough, or push out your dough, however you're gonna work it. There we go. Oh yeah, it's a little sticky, but I like it. And you can put it in your oven for 5 minutes. Don't go more than 5 minutes because that's going to cook it too much. But put it in there for 5 minutes and then pull it out and we'll redress it after that. That's if you are using a regular pan, which is what I'm using. I'm just using a cookie sheet. Pizza's your favorite. Pizza is also my favorite. So I sprinkled a little bit of flour out just so it doesn't get stuck. And I'm going to start kneading out my dough. I'm going to start just pushing it around. We don't want it to be terribly sticky. We're looking to get it kneaded and add a little bit of that extra flour to dry it out just a bit. So you can knead it around. This is a really fun thing to do. I love kneading dough because it makes me feel, I don't know, makes it fun. It's a good way if you're angry about something. It's a good way to be like, puh, I'm mad and I'm working it out on my pizza dough. But you don't have to be angry to make dough. My partner and I make a lot of pizza. He is like an expert at pizza. It's actually pretty crazy that I'm the one making pizza tonight because he is normally the pizza star. So I'm rolling out my dough and I'm going to keep working it about 5 minutes. But mostly you just want to make sure it's less sticky now. As it's picked up more of that flour, it's sticking to my fingers a whole lot less. Oh. That's why I knew scrolling on my computer I was going to end up getting things a little sticky. I'm going to add just a little bit more flour because I can still feel that it's pretty sticky in the middle. It's still sticking to my fingers. But we're just going to work it out. There we go. Now, depending on what toppings you're using, I am just using pepperoni, so I don't have to do any prep. But if you like to put veggies on your pizza or other things on your pizza, you want to cut them up. You want to make them so that they are nice kind of bite-sized pieces to go onto your pizza. Just a little bit more flour, not too crazy. All right, it is getting there. I'm going to start flattening it out a little bit. Starting to get my shape going. This is where you can start if you want to get fancy. You can practice tossing your pizza crust. Just make sure the floor is clean around you so that if you drop it, it's okay. And this is also a good way to stretch it out, to let gravity kind of do the work. And you'll see it's starting to separate in places when you look at it. You can see the light coming through. But we want to keep stretching it out. And I might actually grab a rolling pin to help me out with mine. If you got a rolling pin handy, it might be helpful. So you gotta have room to roll it out. And I got all my stuff out. All right, so I'm rolling this out. And you can make your pizza any shape you want. I'm going for kind of a free-form oval shape. But if you want to make it into a heart, anything like that, great OT stuff here. I don't know what OT stuff means, but thank you. I'll take it. So I'm rolling mine out. I'm not going to be crazy about making it a perfect circle. I'm okay with it being a little bit misshapen. Ooh, and it's sticking to my countertop a little bit, but that's okay. We got it off, and what we're going to do, we're going to lay a little bit more flour down underneath to make sure that it doesn't stick. If your dough is sticking a little bit, that's okay. Throw a little flour underneath, and that'll help. Occupational therapy. I was thinking overtime. Occupational therapy makes much more sense. This is a great way to practice all sorts of motor skills, friends. This is a good, it's building good muscles. It's helping you measure. All sorts of useful stuff. Fine motor control strength. Special ed here. Very cool. I actually am interested. If you want to pop in my inbox and share with me, I would love to know what more I could do to make these things really good for our special education friends. I'm thinking about maybe going to grad school and doing something along those lines. All the kids are like, what's this Cassidy talking about right now? All right, so it is nice and rolled out. I'm just about ready to throw it on my cookie sheet. So like I said, if you have a pizza stone, you don't need to worry about doing this step right now. You can go ahead and just get it on your pizza stone and sit tight. But I am using a cookie sheet. So I've got my nice big sheet here. If you have something like cornmeal or semolina or something to throw underneath, you can do that. If not, that's okay. We're just going to do a quick little spread of it. That just helps the pizza to not stick. And maybe sometimes you've had pizza that has kind of these crumbly things on the bottom. That's what that is. So I've got that on here. And now I'm going to carefully lift up my pizza dough, transfer it over to my baking sheet. My pizza is a very free-form shape today. It is neither a circle nor a rectangle. It's just a giant blob of pizza, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to get that spread out on our sheet. And if you are using a cookie sheet, you are going to want to pop this in the oven for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes to get it cooked a little bit so it's not too doughy, because once we put our toppings on, it's going to make it a little doughier. Hi, Jacob. Good to see you, buddy. How you been since yesterday? Jacob's been taking some of my classes on OutSchool, which is awesome. So I'm going to pop this in my oven, which I need to put it down real fast because we got to scoot where I've got you because you're right in front of my oven. Woo! You almost went for a fall there. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna pop my pizza, just my crust, in the oven for a quick 5 minutes. There we go. So while that's going, I'm gonna get my toppings going. I've got my sauce ready. I've got a big pack of shredded cheese. You can use mozzarella, you can use a pizza blend. Really any kind of Italian cheeses are gonna be what you wanna do here. So I'm getting that nice and ready to go. And then of course, I like pepperoni. What do you like on your pizza? Pop in the comments and tell me what you like to put on your pizza and what you're putting on your pizza right now. Or later, if you make it like Jacob and Melinda in Denver, you're going to make yours a little later. Ooh, pepperoni. Oh, that's pretty tasty. I told you guys, I'm hungry. I'm really pretty hungry, and I'm going to munch the heck out of this pizza when it's done. All right. So I've got my toppings, I got my sauce, I got my cheese. You can add garlic, you can add veggies, you can add other meats. You can do sausage, you can do pineapple if you want. I know that's very controversial, whether you put pineapple on pizza. I'm a fan. I always liked pineapple and chicken pizza when I was younger. I don't know why or how. I don't know how that became the thing I was into, but that's what I liked. I like pineapple and chicken pizza. There's all sorts of different kinds of pizza, friends. Like, I grew up, my mom lives in Chicago, and I grew up spending a lot of my time going there, and they do deep dish pizza, where they cook it in like a cake pan. So it's like this deep pizza soup going on. And then there's thin crust pizza, there's traditional Sicilian pizza, there's all sorts of different kinds. Even in other countries like Argentina, where they have taken pizza and then they've made it kind of their own unique style of pizzas. The cool thing about pizza is when it first started getting made, nobody could really make it at home because your oven has to be preheated to 450 degrees to 500 degrees. And that is hotter than a lot of ovens could ever get to before. Our ovens can handle 450. But back in Naples, when pizza first started, what the Italians would do is they would make their pizza at home, and then they would take it into town to bake it at a bakery that had a proper brick or stone or wood fire oven. The best kind of pizzas are going to come from those ovens because they get super hot, they have their own flavors, But that's okay. We've got our perfectly good kitchen oven here, which will do the job. It'll certainly get us to our pizza happy place. Pizza, 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 pizza. This is my pizza dance. What's your pizza dance? Whenever we have our dance class, we make pizza slices, don't we? We make them with our legs, which is super fun. I'm gonna get some of the stuff out of my way in preparation for pulling my crust out and dressing it up a bit. Ooh, I can smell it a little bit. Oh, I'm so excited, guys. All right, gonna go scoot you one more time. Don't fall over. Grab your oven mitts. We always want to make sure we are safe around our ovens. We're gonna pull our pizza crust out. Ooh, so good, it smells so good. If your pizza crust has some bubbles in it, like mine has a couple little bubbles, that's okay. Take a fork. Ooh, I gotta scoot you back so you can see what we're doing. So if your pizza has some bubbles in it, no worries. Maybe you can see mine has some here. You're gonna take a fork and just poke a couple holes in, because you know what that is? That is the yeast building those air pockets, which we want, but not too much of it. So we'll poke some holes in it to help let that air come out. Now it's time for sauce. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start pouring my sauce out a bit. We'll see how much that gives us. Whoop. I'm gonna use a spoon, the back end of a spoon, to just kind of push my sauce around. You wanna get it out to those corners, but not too far, because if you're like me, you like crust. And I wanna make sure I have a nice big juicy crust to bite into. And I'm definitely gonna need a little bit more sauce on my dough here. Oh yeah, spread it out. Get into those corners. I'm gonna get made fun of for the shape of my pizza. I can feel it already. You had pizza crust! Hey, sometimes the dough falls on the ground, and you know what? That's okay. A little dirt don't hurt. I have to be extra careful because I have so many kitties that they get fur everywhere. And honestly, not even just the kitties. I can't blame them entirely. I have a lot of hair. So does my partner. We get a lot of hair in this house. So I always make sure my kitchen floor is nice and clean before I do pizzas, so that if I have a pizza emergency, I'm not out of luck. All right, I've got my sauce all spread out on my pizza. Pizza, pizza, pizza. Oh gosh, we're getting silly. Now we're gonna sprinkle that cheese, friends, just like in ballet or in our dance classes. Sprinkle that cheese. And you can put, honestly, as much cheese as you want on it. If you are an extra cheese kind of person, you go nuts. We're gonna get all that good cheese on there. Oh yeah, all right. Spread it out a little bit. I gave myself a big hunk of crust over here so that I can have my delicious crust at the end. My partner is also a very good pizza eating buddy, because he will eat his pizza and then he'll hand me the crust. That's true love right there. All right, and last but not least, we gotta put our toppings on, right? So I've got my pepperonis. And you can make shapes, you can make designs, you can put a smiley face of pepperoni on. You could get really crazy. You could do a portrait of your pet in toppings using peppers as their ears and pepperoni as their eyes, and all sorts of crazy creative things. If anybody makes a creative pizza, please send me a picture. I would love to see what you come up with. A dinosaur pizza maybe, a unicorn pizza. And I'm being very precise about where I put my pepperonis right now, but it doesn't matter. Go nuts. Put them wherever you like. What I might even do is, now that I've laid the groundwork of full pepperonis, I'm going to rip some up so that I get some smaller pieces of pepperoni spread out. Whatever toppings, and you know what? If you're just doing extra cheese, more power to you. Load it up. I know some friends who just like their plain extra cheese pizza, and there's nothing wrong with that. I am loading mine with pepperoni because, and friends, this is maybe a good cautionary tale. Maybe don't cook something when you're as hungry as I am because your judgment is impaired. You're so hungry, you're just like, all the pepperoni. How about a little bit more? All right. I've got my toppings, my pepperoni, my cheese. And now it is ready to go in the oven for its final bake. So I'm going to scoot over here. I'm going to scoot you again. There we go. And into the oven goes the pizza. Pizza. Oh, it's heavy. I loaded it up. It's so heavy now. You want to put your pizza on the lower rack of your oven. If you use the pizza stone, you can go ahead and just throw the whole thing in, ready to cook now. But no matter what you're using, you want to put it on the lower level of your oven. You want it on the lowest level so that that crust can get nice and crusty on the bottom. And you don't end up with some doughy, if anybody likes the Great British Bake Off, you don't want a soggy bottom. You want to make sure it's crusty and yummy and good. So we're going to let that bake for about 15 or 20 minutes. Keep an eye on it. It's very easy for that crust to go from perfect to burnt. Plus, it's fun to kind of watch it all cook and bake and get all delicious and wonderful. So that's going to be in your oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. Ooh, I'm sweating because of that 450-degree oven. I've got a nice shine going on. You're going to let that bake for about 15 to 20 minutes. Take it out, let it cool, and you've got yourself some delicious pizza for the whole family. So we're gonna go, because we've been doing this for a half an hour, which is how long we normally go. And that means you've got 15 minutes to have a dance party or gather everybody for dinner and set the table. Whatever it is you feel like doing to get ready while you wait for your pizza, but make sure you keep an eye on it. Don't let that crust get burnt. If you make your pizza tonight and you feel like sharing a picture of it with me, I would love to see, especially if your whole family's enjoying it. You can tag me at Miss Cassidy Creates, or you can send me a private message with that photo. Anything that comes to my private inbox does not go out to the public. So if you want to send it to me privately, it'll just make my heart happy and it won't go any further than that. But if you want to post it and tag us at Miss Cassidy Creates, I would love to see what you came up with. And we are going to be done with activities for this week because, like I said, I'm teaching camp this week for my wonderful students at PA Cyber. But we will be back next week with at least one, if not two, activities. So keep an eye out for that. And as always, you can go back and check out any of our old videos, and you can do any of the crafts that maybe you've missed before, some other wonderful kitchen activities, ice cream. Make yourself some ice cream, always a good idea. And I will see you soon. So it's been so nice to hang out. I hope your pizza is delicious and you keep on being yourself. You keep on smiling, and I'll see you soon. Bye, friends. Have a good one. Oh, don't forget to check out OutSchool if you haven't already. That's a good way to come and hang out and take some other cool classes with me. All right, I'm going to go. I'm getting so sweaty. Oh, my goodness. Pizza! All right, friends, enjoy your pizza. Thanks so much. Have a good night. Keep on smiling. Pizza!